headed out with the owners of Buckboard Marina, Utah DWR, and Wyoming Game and Fish. Our goal is to catch and tag small lake trout for the upcoming Mack-Attack Derby.
What's this place called?
Skunk Cliffs.
Skunk Cliffs.
Skunk Cliffs, yeah, it stinks like a skunk.
But you don't get skunked here.
I'm not going to get skunked. You guys might. No, it's good fishing. Right here. Over here.
As we've told you before, the population of small lake trout is high, way too high. If you fished the gorge this year for kokanee, I'm sure you noticed the amount of kokanee coming to your net is not what it used to be 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, there he is.
Biologists believe these small lake trout are the reason for the kokanee decline, and they have new data to support their theory.
Here he is.
Over the last about 5 years, we've wrapped up in cooperation with the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources several projects, a couple of them on kokanee, a couple on lake trout, which has given us a lot better understanding of what's going on out here.
So this first figure here is a summary of the annual netting that's been conducted on the gorge since the 1980s.
We've started having some public meetings to help anglers understand what's going on with Flaming Gorge and the potential options to manage the reservoir in the future.
Based on this figure, we can see that there is a slow decline in the number of trophy lake trout, those solid circles, and a gradual increase in the abundance of the small lake trout.
The key point here is that we've got an overabundance of small lake trout, which we've known about for years, and now the population has come close to overwhelming our kokanee population. They're eating the kokanee when they're still small, fry, and fingerling size. They don't have a chance to become adults and return to the anglers.
Last year, Utah and Wyoming did a population estimate study to determine how many small lake trout there is in the gorge. The study found there is over 143,000 lake trout less than 28 inches. When they compared that to a population estimate from the 80s,
Where you going, fish?
where it was around 40,000 fish, they knew they had a significant problem. That's why they've increased the small lake trout limits over the years. But now they know they need to do more. And that's why Wyoming and Utah are holding these meetings to inform the public of the new data and get the angling public's opinion on their proposals.
We're thinking about going from a 12 fish, 24 in possession limit
Oh, that's a cute one.
to unlimited in the future. We're thinking about doing net removal. So we talked about those with the two groups of anglers and found very little opposition to either proposal. Really the biggest takeaway I had from those meetings was anglers were concerned that we're not moving fast enough.
I guess my big question is, what are we going to do for the kokanees? We need to take a couple proactive steps toward protecting what fish are there until we can get the lake trout numbers under control. This year, I would have liked to even potentially see some emergency orders come into play. You know, something to where give you guys some teeth as Wyoming and Utah and say, hey, look, we got a problem. We need to do something now.
In January, the Utah DWR will be holding their own presentation for anglers. If you want to see the data right now, however, you can go to the Wyoming Game and Fish website, punch regional offices, scroll down and select the Green River region, look for a tab called Flaming Gorge Management, and you can watch the 40-minute presentation. After watching, you can submit feedback to biologists. There's even tips and tricks on catching and cooking lake trout and even burbot.
We need to just keep pressure on these fish. We're coming up on ice fishing, and that's where we get the bulk of our harvest. Last year when we were doing creel surveys, about 75% of the small lake trout that were caught were harvested. You know, ice fishermen do a lot of damage, and they're our harvesters. And so we want to just keep this information, you know, in the front of people's minds, because we got ice fishing coming up. We got a fishing tournament coming up that's geared towards harvest of small lake trout. So we just want people to get excited about it, come up and help us out with this resource.
And towards the bottom, they're on the bottom kind of deep, about 30, 40 feet. Is it a laker?
Feels like it. Well, that one hit pretty shallow. It's about 20 feet, I guess. Just working it back to the boat from the bank.
Lake trout come shallow in late October and into November to spawn. This is prime time to target these smaller fish.
Attaboy.
But ice fishing at Flaming Gorge is also very productive.
Right on the bottom. Tappity tap tap.
That's why 10 of these lake trout caught today are going to be tagged for the upcoming Mac Attack Derby hosted by Buckboard Marina.
We put out 10
20.5.
pit tags. It's an internal tag. It's what we've used for years in the Burbot contest. You can't tell they're there. We have to scan the fish to find them.
585.
These 10 tagged lake trout are worth $2,500 a piece to every angler who catches them.
There's the first $2,500 tag swimming away right there.
But these fish will need to be caught during the 2-day Mac Attack tournament for the $2,500. The odds are long, but as Rob pointed out, it has been done before.
During the Burbot Classic years ago, the insured fish,
14.4.
specific pit tag that we put out, got caught, and that guy won $10,000. So this is the same thing. These are specific fish that have to be caught to win. There's also an external tag, a Floyd tag category, that has good prizes as well. But this is pretty cool. Buckboard, like I said, sponsoring it. They're trying to help with the fishery and help reduce the number of lake trout so we can slowly get our kokanee fishery built back up again.
We've done it for 4 years now, and we've taken out basically about 3,000 pounds of Lakers through the tournament. One thing that you have to realize is we have about 150,000 Lakers in here, pups under 25 inches that need to be removed.
18.7.
And that estimated weight would be, 2-pound average, I would say, is about 300,000 pounds of fish that need to be removed.
Some people worry that angler exploitation on these small lake trout won't be enough.
I agree that the anglers alone, angler harvest, isn't going to get us to the goal. We're going to have to do some kind of removal efforts in addition, but I also believe angler harvest is going to be critical moving into the future to maintain the population at lower levels once we get it there.
Rob and Ryan do, however, believe that anglers have had an impact on the invasive burbot found here at the gorge. Right now, they have data showing a 4-year trend of declining burbot numbers, in part, they say, because anglers are targeting them more.
It's no different than, what Wayne Gustavson has preached for years down at Lake Powell, with stripers. We're trying to employ the same thing here. They're abundant. Sometimes they can be really easy to catch. Come take as many as you can, and they're really good to eat on the tail end. So it's a win-win situation.
Are you optimistic that we can turn this fishery back around?
I'm absolutely optimistic, but anglers are going to have to help, and we're going to have to be creative on how we tackle this issue.
So the Mac Attack is coming up on the 13th and 14th, I believe?
Yep, January 13th and 14th.
That's not the only opportunity for people to come up here and target these and win some cash and prizes.
No, the Burbot Bash would be the next event. It's January 26th through the 28th.
Okay.
The Mac Attack obviously is geared towards small lake trout. There is Burbot categories in that. And then new to this year with the Burbot Bash, there's actually going to be a lake trout category in there.
Okay.
So we can just get a little bit more exploitation on, well, hopefully more exploitation on small lake trout in the reservoir.
You want me to net it?
Somebody. I'm too pathetic to net it. It's just a spunky little one. It's a pup. It's spunky.
All that bend in the rod for that?
Yeah.
Reckon them.
Number 7 or 8.
Almost to a limit.
If you've never targeted lake trout, it'll take you a bit to figure them out. One way to increase that learning curve, however, is to hire a guide. TJ, owner of BMF Outfitters, is catching about half of the fish in our boat today. He's a great resource to hire if you're looking to become a better lake trout fisher.
Big old pop. Just an eater. Good eater.
You probably caught half the fish that this boat caught today. What in the heck are we doing wrong?
I don't know. It's all about technique. You got to probably slow it down a little.
Okay.
Try to bounce it off the bottom, things like that. Switch up your style. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Okay. Mostly a slower presentation though is usually key.
Okay. What were you using?
We used a bunch of different tubes today. We used a bunch by Radical Glow, the Chartreuse and Glow, and this white was doing really good too.
When's the best time to come up here and target these in the fall?
In the fall, anytime between October and November is typically a good time.
And And now that ice fishing season is just a month or so away, you'll transition to that?
Oh yeah, yep, we're getting geared up right now for ice season. So when people come up ice fishing, we provide everything. The tents, the gear, the bait, everything. So basically all I gotta do is show up.
And you're catching some big fish?
Oh yeah, big ones, small ones, all of them. Typically people want to catch the big ones, but there are groups of people that want to come out and learn how to catch the small ones, and that's what we do.
Pretty successful doing the ice?
Oh yeah, maybe even more so. You can find me on Facebook, it's probably the easiest, or just give the marina a call.
And it's under?
It's BMF Outfitters.
Where can people find information to where to target small lake trout and when?
So on the Wyoming Game and Fish website, you can go to the Green River region, and then at the bottom of that page, you'll see Flaming Gorge Fish Management, I believe is what the title is. Once you open that up, Rob put together a document that shows like key locations along the length of the reservoir from the top all the way to the bottom. You know, where to target both of those species, whether you're fishing them during the spawn or fishing them through the ice or even the open water. So there's a lot of information there. It's a valuable resource for anglers to go to and read. We also try to disseminate that information through social media. And anytime we do any kind of events related to Flaming Gorge, we're handing out those handouts, you know, paper documents of those so people can read them on their own. So yeah, there's a lot of information out there if anglers want to just know more about what to do when they come up here.
So if I were coming up here to target some of these small lake trout, whether it's on a boat or through the ice, some of these Dry Creek Neon Ghost in the solar power tube, whether it's the smaller version of this or the bigger one, Radical Glow also makes a pretty similar tube. Those have been the hot ticket out here today.
Oh, there he is.
People need to get out here for that Mac attack.
Yeah, they do. They need to come out and help us out with this problem we have.
And where can they get information on the Mac attack?
Buckboardmarina.net or come to the store.
Okay. And don't forget the Burbot Bash. We need your help out here, guys. And don't forget the DWR from the Utah side in January. We'll be holding those open houses so you can get your input. And Ryan, I'm sure you'll be giving those presentations.
Yep. And these guys will definitely be there to help as well. So, yep.
Just need to get people out here.
Yep.
It's going to take some time, but as long as we get the help, I think we can turn this around.
Yep. And the harder we work on it now, the better it'll be sooner.
Yeah. So get out here, come participate in the Mac Attack. Come hire TJ to come show you how to catch fish. The kid is about as fishy. I swear you got gills back here as anybody I know. I'm Adam Equal, KSL Outdoors. Remind you to get with your family, your friends. Come up to the gorge and help this fishery out. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.